Yeah, Truckin' Leprechaun, or it says Scott Caskey.
Let me read this one. I
You
think
read
I
that
can
one.
see it. What a wonderful reaction, Mrs. Realistic. This shows just how much love and support you have for your husband and everything he does. I know the struggles of hard work to provide, as it's been 5 months since I've seen my family, and that was to celebrate the life of the man that happened that helped
mold me.
helped mold me into the man I am today. Sorry about my vision. May he rest his soul. Wow. Thank you for the emotional journey through this song. Dax is such an amazing and talented artist. Take care of each other and stay blessed.
Yeah,
Awesome comment.
He's a trucker, so
Yeah.
he's away from his family.
He looks like a tough guy too. Well, they're all amazing comments. They really are.
All the comments are great, and I mean, it would take us a year.
There were a few, though, that had stories. Oh, there's my friend. The Holler Boy to a Bear. Caveman shows a true man that it's okay to show emotion, and we need to open up with our family and friends. Always turn to God. We'll walk up. Can you read that?
Yeah, he will walk us towards what we need to do. Thank you for sharing your husband's reaction, and we love your grounded reactions. Keep bringing us your thoughts. Praying for you and your family, love and respect.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, you've talked with him on the phone.
Yeah, we became friends through my channel, and when I was out in Cali, we tried to hook up, but we weren't able to do it this time. But maybe.
Well, yeah, that was tough because you were only there for.
Yeah, I was all about seeing my dad, so
yeah.
it got a little hectic there.
Daniel Nigra, I don't know how to say your last name. Your husband seems like an amazing man. You guys look happy in love. I personally do not know what this feels like anymore. I have ruined so many aspects of my life and those around me due to emotional issues getting in the way of being who I am needed to be. I miss the feelings and emotion I see you and your husband experience. My wife now literally hates me and reminds me every day what a piece of shit I am. I get no praise from her and very little from my daughters. I feel so lonely most days as well. Guilt and sadness from the decisions I've made affecting my 2 daughters, my ex-wife, and my current wife. Not to mention the emotional pain has caused me to retreat to an addiction of sorts and avoid my family. It's a cycle I know I must break. Okay. I have known this for years, yet here we still are. Many times I have felt like dying would be the best for all parties involved because my self-worth is so low. Who would want me, right? Thankfully, I'm still here. I need artists like Dax, Tom, McDonald, Jelly Roll, anyone who puts themselves out there on full display. Thanks to you both and your caveman. Be well. Yeah, this is the guy that you said call me if you ever need a friend. That's a really, really heartbreaking story.
I consider myself sometimes to be an amateur psychologist.
No, you're just good at talking.
I'm good at listening, and I'm good at giving advice.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason I wanted us to talk about, like on here. It wasn't always easy. This was a huge roller coaster for us.
Dude, there was lots of times we almost just.
Oh yeah, so much.
Yeah.
So much. But
I mean, that's the problem, right? Is that if there's something that happens, and whatever it was, whatever decisions that he made that he says affected his children and his wife, there has to be some kind of conversation.
Yeah.
Because this is what happens, right? It just, you bury it and you bury it and you bury it, and pretty soon it's like everybody hates each other.
Yeah. And it doesn't take long.
No.
You really need to be that way from the beginning. If you can talk about it, like I said, let the other person know what's important to you, so that she can know, and she can tell you what's important to her in a marriage, so that everybody's clear up front. If we move forward, it's not going to be a surprise. No surprises. Right?
What do you mean if we move forward? You mean before you get married?
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
When you meet,
there's certain conversations you have to have before you get married.
Yeah.
One is, do you want children?
Yes.
To
And you got to be like for sure
for
about
sure.
that.
Like, can you imagine if you'd been married for a few years and
Yeah.
then the woman goes, "Well, I don't actually want kids."
Yeah.
And you're like, "What the?
Yeah.
That would
Yeah, I
suck."
heard God, where did I hear this story, man? Oh, a podcast I listened to. A dude was calling in talking about a situation with his wife and how he should handle it and asking the advice of Big Bear, if anybody listens to that. And he said that his wife was planning abortions of his babies
They're married?
when she traveled out of town and things like that.
Shout out to Margaret. This is the one. This is the one.
All
You
right.
want me? It's long.
Yeah, let's read this. I mean, we were going to kind of do this video about this
Why
one
am I so low?
comment.
And you're up so high.
Well, I want to be. She's a shorty anyway.
Well, we're sitting in chairs. Okay, this is T Dog 2354. And this was a hard one. All right. I watched this reaction, then your husband's, then this one again, and read the comments on both. I see how both of you react, and you especially respond to people in the comments, which is why I decided to comment. I'm 31. I stopped dating and cut the cord when I was 24. From the moment I hit puberty, I had no issues getting women, dates, one-night stands, long-term relationships, you name it. Then slowly, I started to realize that whatever magic I had was going away, and I ended up not getting anything no matter what I did. I couldn't figure it out. I tried different things, even started being a clown and changed the way I dressed and talked. I was that desperate and lonely, but nothing would work. So I stopped. Just stopped and only cared about going to work. Then met a woman who I thought was the one at 22. Came out of nowhere, wasn't looking, thought it was the real deal. We dated for over a year. We had great communication, so I thought. We laughed at the same things, enjoyed the same things, hated the same things, etc. I then made a mistake at my job. I was young still and stupid. Got fired and moved in with my brother. It only took 2 months for her to leave without saying goodbye and ghosted me. I've never spoken to her since, and I have no idea where she is or what she's doing. That rocked my world. My entire life was over at that point in my head. I never cried so hard. I had no idea what I did, couldn't get any closure. She blocked my number. Fast forward to mid-24, I met a couple women, still don't know how. I knew they weren't worth anything but getting laid and couldn't even keep them around longer than a week. I met one final woman who was about 10 years older than me. She showed good potential, had all the right traits and characteristics of being a good girlfriend, possible wife. We dated for a bit. I thought, wow, she's way older than me. She won't be the same. Excuse me. She's been around the block and knows what she's looking for and doesn't want any bullcrap and is giving a young guy like me a chance. And then one day she was gone too. She at least dialed 7 numbers and gave me a goodbye. No big fight, no build up, nothing. Just a random phone call one night. That's when I cut the cord. I still hadn't truly figured out what was going on in the world of feminists and culture war on men at the time. But I knew I was done with relationships and women altogether. I was lonely for a long time. The first few years were awful. Always lonely, depressed, miserable, doing everything by yourself, waking up alone, grocery store alone, fishing alone. Then I just started working, more and more. I moved out of my brother's house, bought my own little house, paid off all my debts, got my credit score to perfect, and have been doing nothing but just working ever since. All that garbage I heard my entire life about carrying on a last name, a bloodline, providing for a family, laugh out loud. I've cut all those cords. I don't want any part of it ever again. Where I used to be sad, miserable, lonely, now I'm happy, energetic, and completely satisfied with life. I couldn't imagine going back to dating or trying ever again. I don't care what society does anymore. I hope it crumbles and we all go extinct. I'm just living in the present for me and only for me. I'm glad there are a few women who appreciate men out there. I know it is not all women. That would be absurd to try to... Let's try again. I know it's not all women. That would be absurd to try and convince people of that. But it is a very small percentage of women. And the battle you wage, find the needle in the haystack the size of a football field, isn't worth my time anymore.
Well, you always find one when you're not looking.
Well, he found a few when he wasn't looking.
Well, he's probably going to. He's
only 31.
Yeah, he's probably going to. You have a very negative outlook, justified probably.
All he's ever had was negatives.
But you're creating your reality by thinking that way. You need to think that the right one is just going to wander right in. And I mean, I always believe that. I always believe that God is got my back. Always. Things always work out for me. When I skateboard I'm going to be 53 in like a couple weeks. At my age, I'm never going to break anything. I'm always going to, it's just the positivity. You are too negative. You've had some shit happen, but I've had some shit happen. I've had a lot of shit happen too.
Yeah.
A lot of bad relationships, some horrible stuff.
Relationships.
Caveman story time.
Yeah.
But I don't have a negative outlook like that. When I used to say, I thrive well in like, what did I say? Like in
chaos or something?
Yeah, like fucked up situations. Like for instance, we did some business with a law firm to file bankruptcy when we lost everything, and they ripped us off for like $5,500. And I got some picket signs, and I went to their street corner, and I let them know what I was going to do, and I followed through. Caveman's out there with sign in both hands, and I stood there, and they tried to call the police on me. They tried to blah, 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 blah. And what happened? I got my money back.
They ran out and wrote you a check right there.
Full refund, yeah. And they're lucky they did it because some activists over here in Austin found me, and they wanted to get involved.
They were like, how can we help?
The guy comes right down with the check.
That's right.
I used to say I thrive in those situations. Now I say I don't want those situations. I don't want those situations anymore. Because, I always would get out good, but that's a lot of stress. Yeah. And you don't need that kind of stress in your life. And you definitely don't want to say you thrive in that situation. I think because then your world gives you those situations.
Yeah, but I think that's what he's saying is that he doesn't want that stress of a woman anymore.
Yeah.
I get it, trying to find
But still, he can have an outlook. He can have a different outlook that you're preparing yourself for the right woman. Now we're working on, or do you say he paid off his house, or he's working on?
No, he said he
bought a house, he got out of debt.
Paid off all his debts, got a perfect credit score.
So from what I hear, you're ready to meet the right woman.
Well, I was 31 when I met you.
Yeah, and you're still young, dude. Like, I don't know. Work on physical fitness. Stay fit. Make yourself look as sharp as you can.
Don't marry a gym bunny because
yeah,
they're vapid and shallow.
Yeah. You don't want to.
You gotta find somebody of quality. Not that you're looking, but it has to be like you can't meet somebody at a bar.
No. But I want him to think, T-Dog, listen. I want you to think that the right one is gonna come to you. Right out of nowhere. The right one. Not the one that's almost right. Not the one that's going to be right for a year or 6 months or a year and 6 months. But the right one. Just believe that. How hard is that? For everyone, Those who aren't Christian call it magic. But it's real.
What do they call it? The secret? Some people call it the secret.
Well, I don't...
It's just positive thinking.
Yeah. That's some real floofy stuff. But
same thing.
Yeah.
If you believe it.
It really matters.
It has to be, you have to believe it.
Yeah.
But that sucks, that story.
Yeah, that wasn't the story I was thinking of.
No, but
because it's the one I commented on, and I didn't make a comment on that. I made a video reply to somebody on your channel. But, yeah, T-Dog, seriously. Think it's going to happen. Don't look for it, You are the man that these women are going to want. And you know what I think the big problem is Miss Realistic and I got together kind of before the online dating thing got big.
But we met online.
Yeah, we did meet online. We met on a site called Inked Nation
It
at the
wasn't,
time.
yeah, it wasn't a dating site. It was just,
But the whole online dating thing's got to be a nightmare. And I'm not surprised that these girls would just bounce like that because, you know, they're getting messages every day. I mean, even my
Yeah.
74-year-old dad who, you know, we just talked to in the hospital right now. I mean, he's got a girlfriend. He's had several because of online dating so easy. That's an unfortunate thing, man.
honestly, I think that the whole social media aspect of dating and just the ease and, you know, swipe left, swipe right. I think that that's ruined real.
There are some places like Bertaria Times has a platform where there are the traditional women. They want to farm, they want to garden, they want as many babies as they can have. So there are some places like that. Finding a group like that and becoming active in that group if it fits you. That's Owen Benjamin. He's a comedian. Most of the stuff he says is jokes, so don't take some of it too weird.
He's a homesteader.
But
what do they have? 4 boys.
yeah, 4 boys.
His
and
wife is the cutest thing ever.
He's produced all kinds of. I mean, it's anyway. Those women are out there.
Well, and I think it's good that you're doing this with me because I get to have your point of view on stuff like this. Like, I can't give a guy advice
Yeah.
on stuff like that. I can only think of what it's
Yeah.
like for a woman dating.
You continually, T-Dog, over and over and over again, you're telling that story, and there's no hope in sight, you know. There's no hope in sight when you read that. That's real negative, and I want you to not be so negative about it. There it is, Jordan Chandles. Read that one.
You guys actually remind me of my parents. There was a time when my dad was out of a job and my mom became the sole breadwinner for a while. It got so bad that my father ended up reselling cheap rice on a corner to make ends meet. At one point, he looked at my mother and told her to go with the kids and live with her parents, but my mother said, "We are married. If you suffer, we suffer together, and when you thrive, we thrive together." And this year, they're 30 years married and are still silly for each other.
That's awesome.
That's freaking awesome. And you don't hear that very often
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. What's that one? The Wedding Day.
Oh, Alex?
Yes, read his.
Alex
Yes, he had a very interesting one.
Higginbotham.
Yes, read
The
that.
wedding day caused that reaction because in the beginning, you have the world by the balls and you have your whole future ahead of you. But when you look back 25, 30 years later, after all the struggle, the fights, the trauma, the time you have left doesn't seem so hot. But when you look back and remember that feeling you had that day, it's a double-edged sword. It reminds you of how happy you were, but then you realize how hard shit is now and how little time you have left to fix any of it. That said, I've lost everything 3 times, and I came back stronger each time because I refused to step backwards. But all the hurt doesn't ever really go away. It just gets drowned out from time to time. But I'm still here, and I still do the best I can.
There you go. Alex Higginbotham.
Higginbotham.
That's the right attitude. T-Dog, you need to look at it a little more like that. Like, you know, you're going to come back stronger and, you know, God. And if there's no God, get some God. Get some God. No matter, you don't have to go to church for it. But pray. Everybody needs to pray. And just put it out there. Put your positivity out there. Have faith. Believe it's going to happen for you. It will happen for you. Seriously. Just forget about it. You don't have to think about how it's going to happen. You don't have to try to make yourself go here. It can happen. I mean, we have stories between us that are like crazy shit.
Stories.
Crazy shit.
Over 17 years,
Yeah.
we got some crazy
Okay, one
stories.
time, she's pregnant. We're living in the first house we moved to here in the hood, Round Rock, when we first came here.
Oh, we thought it was awesome, but we learned later it was the
It was the hood, right by the skate park in Round Rock. But anyway, we had a neighbor across the street, and my wife was pregnant. That lady was pregnant. She wanted to meet her, And I said, listen, I'm like not shy at all, so I can go talk to anybody. And I said, listen, if we don't have the potential to meet this person in the next week or so, I'll just go over there and knock on the door and introduce ourselves. And what happened like 2 days later? Do you remember the story?
Yeah, I had a Facebook group of women who had had babies around the same time I did.
And they were Canadian, right?
One lady was Canadian, and she said, I posted a video because they were redoing the asphalt
on our street.
On our street, and I was like, this is crazy. There's steamrollers out in front of my house. And this Canadian friend of mine said, that's crazy because a friend that I know who also lives in Round Rock said there's steamrollers in front of her house. And it was the lady who lived across the street had posted the same thing I did. And she's like, I know this lady. I've known her for like 3 years. She's awesome. She thinks the same way you do. Let me get you guys in contact. And and that's how we became friends.
Like seriously, it's real. Put it out there. If we don't, what did I say? If we don't have an opportunity to meet this girl in the next week and a half, I'll go to her door and knock on her door. And 2 days later,
we didn't have to.
They're having a message on Facebook.
Yeah.
So, listen to Caveman on this. Okay, do it. Okay, so, we have another comment. Which one? Oh, we were talking about Alex Higginbom. Higginbobam.
Yeah, you were just saying, you were comparing.
Okay.
We can cut that out.
Did I,
I like this one.
Well, hold on. What did he say? He said...
You realize how hard this shit... There's not a lot of time left.
Yeah, so I do want to respond to Alex's comment. He stated at the beginning of his comment, the wedding day caused that reaction. He's talking about my reaction.
Yeah, why did that cause that reaction?
Yeah, exactly. He's right. He had this newness and he was nervous. And I'm looking at him as this young guy that has all this hope for his future. And I'm thinking about how much he's going to have to work. That's what I was thinking. Like, it's a wonderful day, but man, you're taking on a lot.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it as it's not going to be a fling that's going to end in a year. And you're going to take it seriously. It really is big deal.
Yeah, and the wedding day is like not for you and me. We already had our first weddings. It wasn't that big of a deal to me the second time, but for most women, especially. It's that la-di-da, it's my day, and it's this magical day.
Yeah.
But that's not the marriage.
I would almost run from a lady like that. Yeah, I don't...
That's why you and I are...
I like that's a warning sign.
Like a lot of people have said, actually there's a comment here that I wanted to read that was very... That was kind of down this line.
While you look for that, I'm going to say something else.
Oh, it's right here.
But it's the type of person that wants that,
A man or woman?
Oh, the woman that wants that constant maintenance. No, thank you. Like the gray hair is coming in on Mrs. Realistic.
Yeah, right here.
And I, for one, love that. And it's not because I don't want to spend $300 a month coloring her hair.
It's because I'm okay with it.
But I don't want to spend $300 a month.
I don't either.
On her hair. But I like the fact that she's okay with it. And you weren't always okay with things.
No, well, it took me a long time to be okay with my natural hair color because I always had blonde highlights. And it was weird to me to see my hair brown.
Yeah.
But I actually realized what a pain in the ass it is to go to the hair salon and do that stuff every 6 weeks. I think that maybe, and not all women, because a lot of women color their hair because they don't want gray hair. But for me, the whole maintenance of having to do that and the extra cost, I just don't have I don't feel like I need to take that time. I still get my hair cut.
I think gray hair is sexy. So
I've seen some beautiful women with
ladies just go
hair
gray.
like this.
Just go gray.
Yeah. Anyway, along those lines, this guy, Kyle Franson, I'm now happily divorced from a woman who wants to be a stay-at-home mom, but she also thought feminist meant she didn't have to do the traditional domestic work, even though I was expected to be a traditional man. The lyrics of this song are all too true to me.
Let me jump in on that.
I knew you wanted to
Let me jump in on that. Like, that's a hot topic for me.
Yeah.
The reason it works for us is because when I'm working, the rest of the family's like doing stuff around the house.
Yeah.
They might walk down to the pool or the playground or something like that. But they're not doing things that make the caveman feel left behind, or she's not running around meeting the ladies and going to get their nails done and spending a bunch of money either.
That's my nails.
Yeah, the reason, yeah, and man, what's his name? Kyle?
Kyle.
Dude, Kyle, you are right on point with that one. To me, that's one of those conversations.
Yeah.
It's not that you can't do that once in a while, but some of these Instagrammers or whatever you call them that are going out and coming home with the bags, nah, I ain't working my butt off so that can happen.
No, and that's something that I wanted to touch on, because if you're the stay-at-home mom, you have a very important role, as does the husband. And for the woman to think that she can go out, and I mean, I've heard opposite opinions on this, but in my opinion, for you to then go out and just like spend willy-nilly,
yeah,
because your husband is the breadwinner, I think it's really disrespectful.
No, and that would be a problem for me.
Yeah.
That would be a problem for me. That would be...
It's not like you're a multi-millionaire and money doesn't matter.
But you guys, you got to find out these things about this lady before kids. So
yeah,
think about that, guys.
Yeah, I hate shopping.
Yeah, we are perfect for each other.
I hate shopping.
Being that, I'm going to be 53 in a couple weeks, and you are what you are.
I'll be 48 this year. I don't lie about my
48 age. The month after me. We like to dine early. We hit the restaurant before the sun goes down.
We do old people dinner.
Yeah, we don't wait in line. Did they say it's going to be a 30-minute wait, sir? Peace. I'm out.
We both hate crowds.
Yeah, so
you have to find somebody that matches that kind of stuff. If you get with somebody who wants to go on a 4-hour hike every weekend and you don't like hiking, well, it's going to be an issue.
Yeah. And another bit of advice. Caveman advice. When I used to train dogs, we trained dogs with kind of like high-level training. It's called Schützen, right? I had a German mentor, and he was like really taught me a lot through training dogs, even about raising my kids. He taught me that, it's relationship, firmness, and consistency. Mm-hmm. Like with your dog needs to know that you love him. He needs to know that you care. You got to be firm and you got to be consistent. Which would mean, one good correction versus 20
little
worthless, meaningless, whatever. And he told me that would make your dog crazy or your kid, because you're sending mixed fucking messages all the time.
Yeah.
I won't cuss on your show anymore. You're sending mixed messages and you end up making the dog crazy because he's not clear about it. And you have to be real clear.
Yeah.
You give one good correction with a pinch collar or with a choke chain, depending on the hardness of the dog, gets the point across. He learns. He pays attention. He's going to look at you now. And there's going to be less damage in the end than the mental mind you're going to give that dog by these half-assed corrections that do no good. It's the same thing with your kids. They need to know you're serious, and they need to know you love them. And it's my job to ensure they respect her. That's my job as the head of the house.
Because they're with me all day, every day.
They break her down.
They know they can roll me when I'm like, oh God, whatever, And you're not with them all day. So you can come home and be like, look, this isn't going to fly.
Yeah.
So that is yet another point, the importance of a father in the household.
Yes. Yes.
Because women, sure, if you have to, God forbid your husband passes away or you get divorced or whatever and you got to raise your kids on your own, it happens. But it's not ideal.
But we have kids that if we take our kids out to a restaurant, the people at the tables next to us are thanking us.
They literally have.
Of course. For how well our kids are behaving.
Yeah.
They're thoroughly impressed. And this day and age, man.
We comment every day.
Yeah.
We had a 10-year-old at a table near us the other day on a tablet because his dad couldn't be bothered to even talk to him.
There's no communication. My kids, we pray at dinner.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking to each other. Nobody's on phones. It's amazing, and it's amazing the reaction we get from people at the other tables where they look at us and like, that family just prayed over there. I don't see that anymore, you know. So it makes a difference in your life. It really does.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And that's the part of the consistency, right? Is that we didn't tolerate any shenanigans at the table.
Yeah.
And you would take them out for a timeout in their car seat in the truck.
Yeah. There were many times when our firstborn, my daughter,
who was tough.
She was a tough kid, and she would just scream and scream and scream, and I would take her out, leave the whole family, my brother, his wife, their kids, and I would go sit out on the tailgate with my daughter because I absolutely refuse to have my daughter ruin somebody else's meal. And I'm not going to give her a phone, and I'm not going to let her turn the volume up. This is caveman's biggest pet peeve.
Yeah.
If I hear a freaking cell phone on in the restaurant, you're probably going to hear from me. And it literally got to a point where it was happening every time. So when I talked about that whole thrive thing, I don't want those situations anymore because they were happening every day. And I mean, I would seriously get in someone's face until we were borderline ready to throw blows about the fact that you are not going to be rude. I have not chosen to eat dinner in your living room.
Yeah.
You know, please turn the volume down. I don't care if they're on the phone, but that sound to me is like a dagger in the back of my neck.
Because people are on the phone on hands-free.
People are rude. Yeah, well, like, remember that lady? Like, legit on, like, what's that call? Like
FaceTime
call where I'm not only hearing the lady in the establishment next to me, but I'm hearing the other part of the phone call.
I don't need to hear your conversation.
F that.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me livid. Oh, yeah. I'm getting mad now.
That hasn't happened in a while, though.
Well, it hasn't happened because I changed my attitude about T-Dog. I changed my attitude about it.
You get what you focus on.
I started to calm down. I started to relax. I started to say, you know what? I'm just gonna deal with this. We're almost done. I started to change the way I looked at it. I was expecting it before, and it happened every day.
That's true.
And now, just the other day, it happened in a restaurant. It was short. They were getting ready to leave. I didn't know that, but they were on the other side of the restaurant.
And we could still hear it.
I can hear that shit, dude. I can hear that shit
it's
from the next
different sound.
restaurant.
It's that weird tinny sound,
Yeah.
and it reverberates through the whole place.
I can't hear you next to me half the time, but I can hear your phone vibrate when it's on the counter and 3 rooms away.
Yeah.
All right, so have we covered everything, or is there another one on here?
There's lots. I don't know how.
So many good comments. Thank you so much. I mean, we've probably made you learn more about us that you're all unsubscribing right now.
You're probably like, holy God, these guys talk.
Yeah.
Todd Finzer, I got choked up when you get choked up because he gets choked up because Dax choked him up. That's what that was. It was like a cyclical reaction to reaction to reaction.
Yeah.
This is Speedy Rocket. Family homeschool is so important for our future to actually teach the children, not groom the children.
Yep.
That's why we do it.
Yep. I'm working right now. So about the jobs, the sideline jobs back here, which I did some before we got on this video, and her and I both, I know what I wanted to talk about. Her and I both have more to do when we finish this video to finish, and it'll be midnight by the time we're done. Mrs. Realistic is helpful. And I think there were a few comments saying, one comment where a lady was like, why don't you go wash his truck? She does things like that for me all the time.
I mow the lawn.
To help me so that I can be in the lab working.
Yeah. She's
very thoughtful about that stuff. And I like, can I get some food? Like, I'll ask her anytime I'm hungry. She doesn't give me a hard time. Takes care of the whole house. I haven't touched laundry ever. We appreciate each other and the things that we do and our part, you know. So she understands. She understands that, hey,
I made you a blanket. I knitted you a man blanket.
Yeah, I got a bitchin' blanket.
Yeah, that is a bitchin' blanket.
You should show the guys my blanket. You know, my banky.
Daddy's banky.
Let's cut that out. Besides those jobs, You know, I have a skateboard YouTube channel, which on the weekend it takes a couple hours. Those videos are much harder to edit, but I've been working on that channel for almost 8 years.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's definitely been 7 years, but I'm probably going on 8 years now. I've done 1,000 videos, and you know, I'm only at almost 14K subs, and all that work. So I can't stop now. You know, I got to keep going. And so that takes a lot of time. And then, you know, I can't look as many. You know, I've been thinking, though, for the Caveman channel, I want to put more time and effort into that channel.
Yeah.
And maybe just less on the skateboarding, like a video a week. I don't want to stop that because it's good for me. It's healthy for me. It's good time to spend with the kids and the family. This last weekend, we all go to the skate park together. I have my best skate sessions when they're all there. I appreciate it, them all being there with me, and I just have a better time. But now I'm taking on helping my 12-year-old son do a rap. And what he said about the generation or the homeschool.
To actually teach the children.
We're actually working on some bars in his song that my 12-year-old's going to sing.
It's so cute.
About being the next generation and being homeschooled. So I need to bust out some of his comment and just put it in that song for my son. But I'm hoping it takes on to him. I'm having fun, so much fun and I've named my my rap persona now. I'm called the Silver Sack Rapper. Somebody commented on my skate channel and they said, "Yo, that's not a bad rap for an old silver sack like you." And I thought,
that was priceless.
That's perfect, dude.
Yeah.
I'm the Silver Sack Rapper.
Wow. All right, well.
All right, so let's end this thing. We've
There's
talked
so
enough.
many more comments. I wish I could. I mean, I have responded to all of them, but I wish we could talk about every one of them because I seriously appreciate everybody's comment. It means a lot to me, and I do try to reply to everything.
Yeah, and the one I'm thinking of, maybe that was on my channel. It was probably on my channel. I got such incredible comments too.
Yeah, you did. You had people telling you it's the best reaction.
Yeah, and I've got some I need to go back and I need to answer now because I've been too busy today. But anyway, this was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I don't even know how long we've been sitting here for hours.
I know, but we got to get to work.
We got to go actually get to work that pays money.
We got to get to work. So,
right. Are you showing off your work?
All right. Peace out, guys. Love ya. Late.
Peace out.